The investigation into the whereabouts of Ms. Levy will have police also doing background checks on people living in her Washington, D.C. apartment building, and they also want to re-interview people who belong to the health club where Levy was a member, and Ms. Smith is due back for even more questioning today.
Well, and as a matter of fact, for some additional questioning here on the Imus in the Morning program, please welcome to the show the aforementioned Anne-Marie Smith. Good morning, Ms. Smith.
Hi, Imus.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good. So, well, first of all, you did endure 6 hours of questions yesterday from the FBI. Generally, what did they ask you?
Oh, everything. My brain, I can barely think right now, but I wanted to talk to you because I wanted to set the record straight. I mean, he's a really strange man, very strange, and, you know, I alluded to some of the sex things that I think really are not something that a heterosexual man should be interested in.
Well, you did say you had fantasies. In fact, there's a quote. You said you had fantasies a normal heterosexual man would not have. What were those?
That's right, Imus. I mean, he was very into role-playing. I mean, his array of sex get-ups would make Madonna blush. I'm not kidding. Spiky bras, leather pants with the buttocks exposed. I'm not kidding. Give him a pair of those and a cowboy hat and bar the door, Nellie. It was all very strange. It was very strange.
How did you meet him?
I met him on a flight from San Francisco to D.C., and I gave him a hot towel, and he asked me if I wanted a hot sausage, and I thought, this guy is very strange.
What attracted you to him?
I don't know. I mean, he's a very powerful man, and I just got caught up in it. There's something about that blow-dried hair. You know, it just turned me on. I just got swept away.
Now, were you aware, well, then, so did you date him after that?
Yes.
After that first flight?
Well, he contacted me, and then the trysts began. I would come to his D.C. office, or he would come find me wherever I was flying. And it just grew and grew, and before I knew it, I was doing very strange things with him. I mean, one of his obsessions is with Congressman Barney Frank, and I always thought that was a little strange. One time he bought me this rubber mask. It looked just like him, and asked me to take a shower with him wearing this mask. He kept dropping the soap and asking me to pick it up. I couldn't breathe in that thing. It seemed to turn him on even more. I thought I was going to drown. The whole thing, I'm still shaking.
It was a Barney Frank mask?
Yeah, Congressman Barney Frank from Massachusetts.
Yes.
Need I say more?
No, we know who Barney Frank is. It's just,
okay.
Did you, were you ever involved with more than one partner with him?
Not more than one partner, but let me just say that he really liked dolls. Okay, I mean, also under the bed I told you those neckties, you know, all knotted. I also found a limited edition Malibu Barbie S&M collection, okay, and the Bend Me Over 10 line complete with gerbils and KY jelly. He pulled those out, and I just couldn't do it.
I was talking with Andrea Mitchell from NBC News earlier this morning. By the way, we're talking with Anne-Marie Smith, who was set to undergo more questioning by the FBI today. It's 18 after the hour. And she said that she would ask you whether Congressman Condit asked you to lie about your relationship with him. Did he?
Yes, he asked me to lie. Yes, he asked me to sign this piece of paper saying that we were nothing more than friends. I mean, give me a break. After the things we did with each other, I mean, I just don't even know how he could look me straight in the face. Well, he's a politician. He didn't say more.
Charles, what was this thing Kinky was talking about? This
I think it's called erotic asphyxia, in which somehow pressure is applied to a person's neck during the moment of climax, and essentially it enhances the orgasm, but it is what I have seen about it since. It is extremely dangerous.
Have he ever asked you to do that?
Well, I told you about the shower incident where he had me wear that mask. I couldn't breathe, and it seemed to really turn him on, and then he wanted to put it on. So I don't know. I mean, I tried to avoid some of the things that he asked me to do. Those neckties, he had an obsession with the neckties. I always wondered why he asked me to get them for him every birthday, Christmas, anything. That's all he wanted was ties. And then I never saw him wear them.
Right. What about the hair that you found in the bathroom?
Okay. I have my own theory about this hair. It's very strange, though. A long black hair, wavy hair. I really think it belongs to Michael Jackson. I mean, let me just say, okay, this sounds weird, but he had an obsession with Michael Jackson also. He had all of his albums. Billie Jean is his favorite song. He'd always play it during sex and make these high-pitched noises. It was so weird. And then I found these left-handed gloves that were stained all over the apartment one time. Okay, so that's my own theory, but don't quote me on that.
When was the last time that you had any sort of intimate relations with the congressman?
Well, he called me, and he tried to get together with me again after the affidavit, and that was it. I refused to sign it, and it was over after that.
And have you had any relations with any other people in Congress?
Well, I'd rather not go into that, okay? I mean, that's getting a little private. A girl has to have some modesty.
Well, you pretty much revealed almost everything. The Barney Frank mask, I mean, it pretty much... I think we crossed that barrier. I mean...
Well, I just hope by giving this interview that I can maybe impress upon other young women who fall prey to these perverted politicians not to do it. You know, that's my only thing to gain, you know, in all of this. And by the way, I have been contacted by CBS. I may be going on their next Survivor show. I'm just not sure yet at this point. I've got an agent, and, you know, we're going to see maybe Who Wants to Marry a Millionaire could call me, or I just, you know, I don't know. We'll see.
Thanks for taking the time to talk with us. I appreciate it.
Of course, anytime.
Anne-Marie Smith here on the Imus Morning Program, 21 after the hour.
She's a rich girl, she don't try to hide her diamonds on the soles of her shoes. He's a poor boy, empty as a pocket, empty as a pocket with nothing to lose. Sing ta-na-na, ta-na-na, she got diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Ta-na-na, ta-na-na, she got diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Diamonds on the soles of her shoes. Diamonds on the soles of the shoes. Diamonds on the soles of the shoes. Diamonds on the soles of the shoes. Diamonds in the morning.
Headliners and legends tonight. Outrageous.
All right, please now from Newsweek magazine and NBC News, please welcome Johnathan Alder. Good morning, Mr. Alder.
Good morning, Mr. Imus.
How are you?
That was a mind-blowing interview. I mean, I didn't know what to make of it. What did you think?
With Anne-Marie Smith?
Yeah.
I thought she was jerking my chain on the Barney Frank mask, frankly.
She wants to go on Survivor?
Well?
I mean, she's turning this thing into a farce, and it's not like a normal sex case. You're talking about a young woman's life.
Well, I understand.
It's peculiar.
No.
But she certainly gave everybody a lot of new angles.
No.
Michael Jackson's hair?
Well, I do think that sometimes when people appear on this program, they think they have to say funny things. But I do think that most of the other things she had to say were, obviously, because, well, I mean, I do think that we're going to find out before this whole thing is over that some sort of weird sex has something to do with it.
Yeah, a lot of what she said could very well be true. You saw the story in the Washington Post this morning about this Pentecostal minister and his daughter, right?
Yeah.
18 years old, and she told her father that she had an affair with Condit a few years ago. He told the Levys, who I guess he did some gardening work for, that they had a relationship, and warned the Levys about Condit.
Let me ask you something, Johnathan.
Yeah.
Did you think that was really Anne-Marie Smith?
No. I wasn't sure. I just caught the end of it, to tell you the truth. So, I didn't know what it was.
I really like it.
You know, that's the problem with the show. It's hard to know. And she's coming forward. She's saying a lot of pretty amazing stuff.
It's Christy out in the newsroom, Johnathan.
It's Christy? All right. You had me.
Okay, well.
That's what happens when you jump out of the shower.
You really are just a moron. You're almost the dumbest person I've ever talked to. I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I just, sorry, you got me.
Well, good.
That's what happens when. That's what happens when life imitates art in America.
Well, we had these idiots from CNN and all these other networks calling us for our exclusive Gary Condit interview the other day. I mean, CNN wanted to know if they could take a live feed, right, Bernie?
That's correct.
Yeah. So maybe now that Walter Isaacson's over there, they'll perhaps be a little more discerning. But I mean, it's laughable. So
pay a little more attention.
Well, back to being serious for a second. You are right. There is a young woman's life at stake here, and here's my question. I asked David Gregory, the White House correspondent, to do that.
Now, Media Watch, a continuing expose laying bare the structural deficiencies of our national media organ, with veteran broadcast journalist Walter Cronkite. Return with me now to the 12th of July, 2001, a day like all days, packed with the pundits who interpret, analyze, and report the great events which impact our lives, and who, from time to time, reveal themselves to be the utter saps we long suspected that in fact they were. For men over the Media Watch examination journey today, and at Modesto, California congressman level, we find none other than Newsweek magazine's and NBC's Johnathan Alter, an individual we presumed to be one of America's most savvy and certainly least gullible news hounds, until that is the 12th of July. For it was on the Imus in the Morning program that day that we discovered our old friend was not only not savvy, but in fact had apparently fallen out of the stupid tree and hit every branch on the way down. The I-Man had employed a staff member, news editor Christy to pose as a prominent person in the news. In this case, Gary Condit concubine Anne-Marie Smith. Imus interviewed Anne-Marie Carlo Smith ostensibly to ferret out details of her sex episodes with the Randy congressman. At home, correspondent Alter listened intently, awaiting his subsequent guest appearance that morning on the Imus show. Listen as Miss Carlo Smith revealed such details of her relationship with Congressman Condit as
one of his obsessions is with Congressman Barney Frank, and I always thought that was a little strange. One time he bought me this rubber mask. It looked just like him, and asked me to take a shower with him wearing this mask. He kept dropping the soap and asking me to pick it up. I couldn't breathe in that thing.
Right.
It seemed to turn him on even more.
Alter leans forward, focusing even more intently on his radio, as Anne-Marie Carlo Smith added,
he was very into role-playing. I mean, his array of sex get-ups would make Madonna blush. I'm not kidding. Spiky bras, leather pants with the buttocks exposed. I'm not kidding. Give him a pair of those and a cowboy hat and bar the door, Nellie.
Bar the door, Nellie? Well, now, Alter furiously scribbles notes.
By the way, I have been contacted by CBS. I may be going on their next Survivor show. I'm just not sure yet at this point.
And then it's Alter's turn with Imus. He alludes to the just-concluded interview, stunned.
That was a mind-blowing interview. I mean, I didn't know what to make of it. She wants to go on Survivor.
Well,
I mean, she's turning this thing into a farce, and it's not like a normal sex case. You're talking about a young woman's life.
He's stunned. He's stupid. Imus attempts to let him down gently.
Have you ever heard Richard Nixon on the Imus program? That's not really him, Jonathan. He's dead. Okay.
Yes, Jonathan, I'm dead. And flight attendant Anne-Marie Christy Carlo Smith did not frolic, so far as we know, in a Barney Frank mask and rubberized pants with a butt cutout, awaiting an audition call from Jeff Probst. Further, as you listen to the Imus show while writing your next cover piece for Newsweek magazine, Jonathan, you should keep in mind the following. Yes, Alter, Nixon is dead. And what am I, Private?
I believe a general's referring to the fact that you're dead too, sir.
Are you dead, Private? Sounds off like you were trying to drive some inane Imus bit through Johnathan Alter's head. Sir, General Patton's been turned down for 56 years. Alter ought to read a paper now and then, sir. I couldn't agree more vigorously. Ted Kennedy here, Jonathan. And I don't think I'd rush out any Newsweek special issues based on something you hear me say in this particular forum. Let the word go forth from this time and place. It really isn't me. Andy Rooney, Jonathan. You ever feel like when you get up in the morning to shave, there should be this little sign that says, warning, objects in mirror are dumber than they appear? I do. And as, in fact, do I. Sad. For me to watch, and while it may come as a shock, Jonathan, this is not Walter Cronkite. Thank you, you moron, and good night. Now, stay tuned for our exclusive interview with Thomas Jefferson.
That's pretty mean, Joe.
You know what, General?